Backpack Broadcasting continues to bring you the best original sports content, but now you can get more of the content you love. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to bonus content, including behind-the-scenes footage and interviews from the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, or the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. All this exclusive content comes via Patreon. There are tiered levels of patronage, and each Backpack Broadcasting patron receives exclusive perks. Your support helps Backpack Broadcasting create more of the original content that you love. Visit Backpack Broadcasting's Patreon page and become a patron today. From the Gotham Podcast Studios, it's the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Dexter Henry, Brian Fonseca, episode number 40. And for the first time, we have a guest returning.
Yes.
Woohoo!
You just heard her. That is the great Michelle Yu, reporter, anchor, SNY. She is back
I
for
am
the
back.
second time. You're the first
And
person
I'm
to come back
happy.
twice.
Well, thank you. I feel so flattered.
Yeah, and you were shocked to find out that your video did the most views out of any video we put out.
I truly am so
Absolutely.
shocked.
It's true. It's not a
Well,
lie.
I'm Asian. We don't take compliments. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
You should take that compliment. It's really good. It's a really good
Well,
one.
thank you so much. I'm happy to be back. Really happy to be back.
Yes.
Yes, we're happy to have you.
Want to just tell everybody, make sure everybody's phones is on airplane mode before we continue
Mine's on
recording.
airplane mode.
You
I
wanna
was
continue?
playing a lot of games because I was stuck on the train.
Oh, we're
I
gonna start with
forgot
that.
to-
Both of you guys got here late
Oh,
because
my
of stuff.
God.
So the MTA.
The MTA sucks because it is the weekend, and I get you have to do your work, but, people have to go places on the weekends, too.
They do.
Like, I was stuck on West 4th Street for
That's
15
where I
minutes.
was.
Yes,
That's where I
thank you.
was.
Yes.
You guys
Oh,
had a shared MTA hell experience.
Were you on the A?
Yeah, the blue line. It was on the E.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's where
awful.
I was too. I got off and walked and took I forgot to pay my Lyft driver. He's gonna have to wait. But it's like, so I left.
Pay him or tip him?
I'm not tipping. I don't tip Lyft drivers. That's another conversation we can
Yeah,
have.
that's another
Okay,
conversation.
well, go.
But
Somebody
I don't-
asked me that the other. Did
Yeah.
you text me that and ask me that the other day?
No.
Okay, somebody asked
But
me.
I don't, because, you're already getting paid. Whatever. What's it called?
Nightmare MTA.
So
That's what we're talking about.
So I left to get here. I always say it's a 40-minute commute.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's easy to get to. So I left at 4, thinking I'll probably be here around 4:45, because give or take, maybe we'll stop at a stop or whatever, because the train takes rest stops.
Oh,
for
yeah,
things
this
like
one
that.
took like a 15-minute rest stop at West 4th Street.
And you didn't have that long of a ride either.
No, I mean, it takes me 15 minutes to get here. But it took me an extra, 30 minutes because of that.
So the L was perfect today. The L was fine.
Which is a shocker, because that's going to be
That's good.
putting a lot of
Oh,
people
I'm
very
gonna-
miserably.
Yes.
I might get a bike. I'm not even kidding. I might get a bike instead of a car or something. I got to do something.
That's what de Blasio wants you to do.
So
Okay, so never mind.
Yes, exactly.
I don't want
Don't let him win.
I don't want older people to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So Michelle, are you? Because Brian had this rant a couple weeks ago. He's late.
Oh, I have another
It
one
was
coming
worse.
right now.
Are you down on the MTA? Do you feel like the MTA? Are you another person can say MTA sucks? Because I get all these complaints. Like my fiance Marguerite is always texting me in the morning going to work. She's like, babe, another delay.
Oh, the MTA. If you want to go on the MTA and you want to have a nice meditation for your day, you go on the MTA. That's what you do, because you sit there. You could play your game. I play my Toy Blast. It's like a Candy Crush game.
Okay.
I send my emails. I text people. They have free Wi-Fi. I mean, it's like they want you to enjoy the MTA, but it's a nightmare. So I do all my errands on the MTA. So sometimes I go home and visit my parents on in the Bronx. So I take the 2-3 train.
Right.
That's like going to Pittsburgh, because I'm in the Bronx going to Manhattan. I might as well go back, to DC on an Amtrak back and forth, and I can make that time. It's ridiculous. And along the way, I see a lot of different characters.
Oh,
throughout.
absolutely.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
you get your
Scenery.
entertainment.
I
You get
do.
meditation and entertainment.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what you'll get.
Yes, but
Yeah.
not in a good way.
No.
Not in a good
don't
way.
get me started on
No,
that.
look, some people use it as an opportunity to ask you for some things that you're not prepared to give them, so there's that. Anyway, so what's it called?
Yes.
So I transferred onto the A at what is that, 8th Avenue or whatever, so I got on, We got to, what was the next stop? What's before West 4th Street? Do you remember what's before West 4th Street?
Broadway Lafayette.
Okay, we were on Broadway Lafayette. In between there and West 4th Street, we just stopped. No explanation, randomly, we just stopped. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it's bad. You're a native New Yorker. You know what this is already. So it's like, okay, so we're probably going to be here for a while. That's when I sent the text. And then about 15 minutes later, we get to West 4th. And then for some reason, they just start going on the F line. Like, without explanation at all. So then, we get to West 4th, whatever the stop is after that. I got off and I took a Lyft to get here, which also took a while because the driver was 9 minutes away, canceled the ride.
Oh, he doesn't deserve a tip.
Waited a few minutes, and then the next driver that I called was 7 minutes away, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
That's a 1 star for him. I'm
just gonna take it.
A 1 star.
1 star no tip, or 1 star with a tip?
1 star
Look,
no tip.
I'm all about keeping your business going, so I try to give all these
that
drivers.
face you have on right now, Brian, is a 1 star with no tip. I mean,
and Brian's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
He looks.
You know what? I don't recommend driving through Manhattan, but I'm not gonna give him the 1 star. I give the MTA 1 star. Can I do that? Because I already tweeted at them. I'm like, listen, the weekend is not an opportunity for you or an excuse for you to be incompetent and to be incompetent without explanation.
Agreed.
Tell us, and if you're gonna tell us, don't leave the fan on so we can hear you while you suck today.
But here's the thing, guys. I think that the MTA doesn't give an explanation because they don't have to. Because they're like, how else are you gonna get around as efficiently and cheaply as this? We don't have to. I'm not saying that's right.
Do not
I'm just saying that's why they do it.
I'm getting a car next year. I'm getting a car next year.
I'm just telling you why they do it.
Dex, that's not the right way to think. We need to fight this fight.
How?
Listen,
New Yorkers fight this fight.
How? I want to know how.
I don't know. Riding?
I will get out in front of this. I will use this podcast medium to get out in front of this.
I know. I was like, don't get in front of the train. That's what I was thinking.
No.
Don't
the fight.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Because I like violence. We established that last episode.
Well, we fought the fight because we made it here.
Yeah.
There
and
you
we
go.
are, so
you are all
That's
here.
true.
We're all
That's
here.
true. That's
We're
true.
all here.
Yes.
You guys made, because Michelle texted me and told me, she was like, Dexter, I'm stuck at West 4th, said the same thing.
Yeah.
But she made it before you, and then you had a whole nother adventure. But we're all here.
And that's what
Michelle,
matters.
And Michelle is back.
Yeah, I'm glad about that.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you didn't have to pay an extra $8.50 for a Lyft ride. To which I still haven't made official because I still haven't paid the man yet.
I don't think you are.
By the way, I love this room right now. It's like the United Colors of Benetton.
It is.
It is. It's lovely.
It is.
It's
really
so lovely.
Is. But it's always lovely.
It is. A nice shirt you have
Yellow.
on.
I got a little yellow Black Panther.
So, well, yeah, I love it. I mean, I don't have any. I look like a sailor.
Well,
but,
you're wearing my favorite color, navy blue. Navy blue and white's my favorite color
and
combination.
this is fantastic.
And I have
black. It's a multicolored.
I have a Nas quote. Pre Kanye and Khalees controversy.
Wow, so New York.
I just want to point that out.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I love it.
Well, Michelle, you were here. What have you been up to? Last time we had you on, Athletic Appetites was rolling. Now it's changed. Now you got a half-hour show.
Yeah.
Hopefully you haven't got big time on us, but you're back here. So
no, I'm here. No, it's been really a lot of fun. Like, I've really had a great opportunity to meet wonderful athletes and get to know them in a different way. I think when you eat with someone, there's a genuine connection. And I think, as Anthony Bourdain, may he rest in peace, once said, when you sit down with someone for a meal, you know them in a way that, you wouldn't know someone, for 10 years if, you didn't eat with them. So I think it's interesting, meeting these athletes. They're just normal people eating, with you, having a meal. So it's been really fun, and there's different cast of characters.
What's been the difference, now doing it as a half-hour show as opposed to when you had segments and online? Like, how's that changed for you?
It hasn't changed that much because basically we're just grouping together some of the 4 segments that we've done and just putting it together. So it's like the ins and outs. Like, I remember the first one that we've done. We got to shoot a bunch of scenic stuff around the city, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
Times Square, South Street Seaport, and all that stuff. So that was kind of fun. We are looking for a sponsor for Athletic Appetites, too. So if you know anyone that would like to...
We're looking for one, too.
Hey.
How about Lyft or Uber Eats, if you're listening out there?
We actually have Lyft, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
For this
so,
podcast.
but it's going well. I
Don't get the MTA.
No, not the MTA. Although if the MTA did sponsor Athletic Appetites, I would like them a little bit more.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. I would
Would
give
their
them
money come in
a
on time?
pass. That's true. With the athletes coming on time, that would be a whole other issue. If the athletes had to come in to my shoot on a subway, that would be crazy. But it's been a lot of fun. I did a Jets tasting. I tasted some of the foods.
That was what it was.
Yes.
Now I remember.
Oh yeah, you were texting me about
the other day you posted something on Instagram.
Yes.
One of the Instagram stories. It was a close up on. You were at MetLife.
Yes.
And it was a close up on these tater tots you had.
Oh yeah.
And we were on the.
those.
We were on. We. No, you
called
called me after.
Yes, I actually called you
but
after.
It was like right at that moment, and I was like, "Yo, thank God you called me," because I was looking at these tater tots Michelle posted, and they were so good.
Yes, it was awesome.
That legitimately happened. And
Were
that
they
was
as good as they looked?
They were very good. All the food there is very good. It's all kind of like nasty delicious, right? It's like a trillion calories, but so yummy.
Now,
when I say nasty.
Were you
Oh,
doing the
so that's
tasting
like-
the players in like the what's the club lounge they have on the lower level?
Oh,
of
the
MetLife? You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
the
I'm forgetting.
Toyota Lounge.
The Toyota Lounge. Were you
Yeah.
was it there?
Yeah.
I was there.
Okay,
I
because I've
was
had
there.
some of the food in there. It was really good.
Oh, it was
Some of
really
the food in there
good.
was really good.
Well, what I love about this year's, I'll give you a little preview of the Jets food this year.
Yeah, because we
is
want to
that
watch
there is
this.
a lot of international flavor because they have like empanadas like from Colombia, and then they do a little empanadas with like Asian stuff and like Korean stuff, like kimchi and Chinese and like European food like French and like so it's very interesting that they did a little global spin to it and they did a little healthy spin to it. So if you want to go to MetLife Stadium and eat healthy, you can get like a nice like farro, kale, fresh heirloom tomato salad with some grilled chicken.
Ooh.
So it
Oh, it's making me
sounds
so
like
hungry.
nice and fresh and farm to table, which is a different flair, for a football game.
Yes, definitely
Which
different.
which
Yes.
is great. So my segment on that airs in one of the Jets pregame shows because we want all the Jet fans to like to see that.
Right.
And then of course they had the usual like nasty but delicious food like the tater tots, but they had like truffle French fries and things like that. So that was really yummy. And the burger, that's different food tasting. Sorry, I get my food tastings mixed up.
I can see why.
Yeah, they have a great chicken parm station with chicken. And these Korean barbecue kimchi
I love Korean
brisket
barbecue.
sliders.
Brisket sliders.
Yeah, so good.
And I'm a fiend for brisket.
Yes,
I
it's
found
like
out.
Korean barbecue
Style,
style
which I love.
brisket.
Okay.
Ooh.
So there's a twist to it. So it's very good. So
Okay.
definitely, if you go, you got to check that out.
All right, so you've got some interesting stuff coming up. I have to ask you because you're always traveling.
Yeah.
And I can't even keep up with you. Where have you gone this summer, and did you taste any good food while you were gone?
So I toured Italy.
Yes,
all
that's
over
right.
Italy.
Right.
So my husband and I, we went to flew into Rome, drove down to Amalfi Coast. We did a little Amalfi Coast, then went up to Naples, the Pompeii, and then we flew up to Milan, and then we drove up to Lake Como, and we came back to Milan and spent some time there, and then flew home. So we were gone for like almost 2 weeks, and
Great.
it was great, and we got to taste like different foods of Italy, which is fantastic because like each region has like really different food.
Yep.
A lot of pasta eating, but like all good. You think everything is like fresh there. I cooked with John Franco once, and
Yes.
he said to me, he goes, Michelle, when you go to Italy, everything is just like not fattening because it's so fresh and it's. I go, no, it's still pasta, John. He's
Yes.
like, no, everything is so fresh. It's good for you. So that
pasta's
was
still
my
fattening.
mentality
Yeah.
that when I went there. But it was so delicious. It was
Was
so
it good?
Yeah.
How was the wine out there?
Oh my God, the
First
wine is so cheap. It's cheaper than a bottle of
I've heard.
water. Like, I'm not lying
Really?
to you.
Oh.
It's like €3 for.
Another reason to hate
like-
America?
Yeah. Exactly.
Give me any
Could be
more.
drinking for a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah, and people are drinking at 11 a.m. Like I go
I've
there,
heard.
and
At
I'm like,
11
what are
a.m.?
we doing with our lives? Seriously, what are we doing with our lives?
So it's like wine for breakfast?
Kind
I'm
of.
fine with that.
Like brunch every day.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Well, you could be
Well,
like
you-
Amari Stoudemire and bathe in wine.
that's true.
Or that
you
too.
can.
Or
You
not.
can.
Saw him at Big
But,
Three last
where,
week.
but where you were going with that was what are we doing? American culture seems like sometimes we don't enjoy
No.
enough. Not in an indulgent way, but in a relaxation kind of way,
It's
right?
true. We don't
Yeah.
enjoy our lives enough, I don't think.
And I feel like I
Well,
see that
we're-
whenever I travel.
But you
I
know,
feel like that.
you know what it is though. We're especially in this country, like we're programmed so much to just work. Like we have like sick days are a stupid concept if you
Yeah.
think about it. You know what I mean? Like if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
sick, you're sick. You shouldn't have.
Oh
what
yeah,
if-
but if you're sick and you call out sick, they're like, "Oh, they're not sick. They're going somewhere."
So it's like if you get like God forbid if you get cancer, do you run out of sick days?
You know what's funny? At
That's a
the
good
where,
point.
where I work now, I don't have a limit on sick days at all, which is actually
we gotta
really nice.
all work there then.
Right?
I
I remember when I saw that when I got hired, I was like, oh wow, there's no limit on sick days. Yeah, you can.
By the way, congratulations on your new job.
Thank
So
you. Right,
proud of you,
Thank
Dex.
you.
Right.
Thank you. Oh man, now,
Yes.
Michelle has me blushing now.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate
But
it.
it's true though. Like in American cultures, we're just kind of brought up that way. Where hey, you're supposed to even if you're very efficient at your job, where like you don't need to be there 9 to 5, you can do all your work from 9 to 1.
Yes.
But no, you have to stay here, show face, because
Right.
it's very important to just be at this job in this little cubicle, and then you can go.
Yeah.
And by the time
Yeah.
you get home, you're fried. You just want to,
Exactly.
watch TV or play video games and do nothing, and then it's like.
Which is why you have to try to enjoy life as much as possible and do what you love.
But we should be doing it in Italy. That's what we
I
should be
agree.
doing.
Or the Italian way, at least.
Yes.
Italian way.
I mean, this is a sample life of Italy. Like, and I'm not even talking about people on vacation. They wake up, they get their little pastry or whatnot, a little cup of coffee, which is delicious. Sit there, ponder about life for an
They're
hour.
way more relaxed.
Talk to their neighbors, and
Yep.
then all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock. Oh, it's lunchtime. Oh, let me take a 2-hour lunch. They take
Everybody
2-hour
does
lunches. Places are
Everybody
closed.
does that.
Stores are
closed
closed.
for lunch.
So they're back at 2, and then they're done by 5, and they're like, oh, it's time for aperitivo, which is like, happy hour,
Right.
but it's not really dinner. Oh, by the way, this is the other thing Americans are doing happy hour wrong. Like massive plates of free food, delicious. I'm not talking about little peanuts. I'm talking about big slices of like nice pizzas and chunks of like fresh like zucchini, like fried zucchini, like balls and like whatnot, free for you to enjoy during aperitivo hour
drinking.
while you're drinking. Why do I need to eat dinner?
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
That's
Plus,
true.
it's also better when you drink instead of the way we do it here, which is like try to down as much alcohol as
Oh,
you
yeah.
can possibly for cheap during the hours
Yes.
from 5 to 7.
They give
then-
you some pretzels, and they're saying they're generous here,
Yeah.
right?
Pretzels.
And I bet you,
Yeah.
and I bet you in Italy they still get a lot of work done.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sure they do.
I bet you
I'm
they
sure.
do.
And it's funny you guys bring this up
We're
because
doing everything ass backwards.
we
We
are.
are.
Like-
We're
We are.
hustling backwards for sure. And I
Totally.
remember my cousin was bringing up the same thing. She lives in France, and she was telling me,
Yeah.
"Oh, in America, you guys are just working way too hard." And we were just having this conversation
For
a
not
couple weeks
enough
ago.
money.
Yeah, that
Yes,
too.
it's
And
true.
she's right. She's right. The European culture around it, because not just Italy, it's France and even
Yeah.
in England. It's just so much different, so much more relaxed, and they just
Oh,
enjoy themselves
it's
more on
lovely.
vacations.
Yeah.
Whatever. But bringing it back to the
It's
States.
lovely. Yeah, we
Part
are
have
in the
to.
States.
We do. Because we have a
Because it's Sunday, and
it's
after this, I have
Sunday.
to go to work.
You have to go to work.
Right.
And part of the reason we have Michelle here is Michelle's an avid tennis fan and has done a lot of coverage
My
on the US
favorite
Open.
2 weeks.
Yes, your favorite 2 weeks, which is why we have you here for
I will
this
be there
episode.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Um,
good.
And I'm covering it this year.
The
so I'll be
US
there a bunch
Open.
of the 2 weeks, yeah.
So you guys will be at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
Yes.
It's another interesting year, but I think Serena's always a story, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Serena's-
Somehow, yeah.
Somehow Serena's always a story. But before we get into Serena playing, okay, we had this thing come up from Serena. French Open was the president in an interview. Said Serena could no longer wear the catsuit she wore this year.
Right.
It was designed by Nike to help her with the blood clotting that
clots.
she experienced due pregnancy. I had my reaction to this, which I was disappointed in the French Open. What was your reaction to this and saying, hey, Serena can't wear this anymore?
Well, I thought it was weird. The one quote from the French Federation that I
Mm-hmm.
thought was offensive was, "You have to respect the game."
Yeah, I hate that.
So, okay, so I get, like, Wimbledon, for example, like, you have to wear all white.
White,
So I
mhm.
guess that's a tradition, right? So if that's something that's been set
Mm-hmm.
that you have to do and you come wearing black, then, I get it if you're being kicked out, like, it's fine, because that's been the tradition for 100 years. You have to respect that.
Right.
You have to respect that part of the game, which I do
That I'm fine with.
respect.
Agreed.
Yeah. Even though
But-
I don't care about tradition.
You don't care for traditions.
Yeah.
We know this.
Well,
Generally.
that's like the British, right?
Yeah.
Like the Queen comes, like
And she
all
has to
that
be in
stuff.
all white and
But like in this case, like I don't know, people have been wearing weird clothes to play in the French Open like forever. It's not so one year. I mean, this year Serena comes in with an all black getup, and she just had a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're gonna, and she needed those pants for blood circulation,
They should-
which, by the way, the French Federation claims they did not know. I don't know if you knew. There's a new twist to this
Not
now.
buying that.
They've come out. Serena was at Media Day yesterday, and she came out to
Right,
say
yeah, she was.
that everything is smoothed over because she talked to them, and that the French Federation did not know that it was for blood circulation, and that if they had known, that they would not have said what they have said.
Okay. Just to take that, and I thought you said something initially. You said, "Hey, this where you found it offensive,"
Right.
and I did too. And I thought any women that want to play the sport should absolutely be offended by
Right.
this, because I looked at the outfit and I started saying, "What's wrong with it?"
Well,
Right? Like,
because it's not that cute little dress where you show, your legs and
so
the
because we're
tennis
seeing some of
outfit.
Serena's curves, you're mad at that?
I'm not mad
Not
at
you,
that.
I'm just
yeah,
saying
I'm
that-
just
that-
saying.
you're not
Still
you.
can in the catsuit. For
Right.
what it's worth.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying you
yeah.
still could in any other outfit,
Yeah.
right? I don't think it made a difference. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
So
questioning.
from their perspective, it's like, what are you doing?
So I'm
here?
like, now you were like, this catsuit, in their words, this is too far. Because I think
Right.
I don't want to misquote them. It's like, this is going too far.
Right.
Why didn't anybody ask this question in an interview?
Right.
How is this going too far?
But why didn't anyone say anything before? Like, why is it now? French Open was over
Timing
months
is
ago.
interesting, right? That
Right?
you announced this 2 days before the U.S.
Yes.
Open. Very interesting.
So
Why?
that is the thing. I was like, okay, she wore this. When she first wore that at the French Open, well, Serena has always been known to wear interesting outfits.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
which
yeah.
that's her. That's who she is. And when she wore the catsuit, I was like, oh, this is her way of saying I'm a superhero. I'm.
And I love the whole Black Panther thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
loved it.
So fine. That's her way of expressing herself, to her fans, which I think is great because everyone should express, to their fans in their own way, in their own. Everyone should not just wear the same tennis skirt and do whatever
Right.
and be like here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they said it months later. Like, oh, next year, like she can't do that. So I thought the timing, like you said, was
Very
a little
interesting.
strange.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
and then now to say like it's okay, it's all a little fishy. Like I think there was a little bit of Serena and her fans are calling it racism, but I don't want to say it's racism. I think it's a little bit of a bias, like saying I don't
I'd say
know.
it leans a little bit more to sexism to me,
Yes.
because at least that's what it screamed to me. I understand where her black fans,
Right,
including myself,
of
may
course.
say it's a little bit of racism
Yes.
because of
Yeah.
the Black Panther
Of
and the
course.
empowerment thing that might come
Yes.
through it. I can't.
I didn't see it that way though.
I can't definitively say that. So I
Yeah.
don't see what screamed to me was sexism, because I was just wondering if other women did this, and this is
Or
maybe-
if a man wore long pants
Right,
to
let's-
play.
Right.
Like, what if Roger Federer
And it
wore
was
long
fitted.
pants to play and it was fitted and it was like spandex? Like,
Right.
what would they say?
right. Would we then criticize that man for
Right.
showing off his body?
Right.
No, I don't think it will play that way.
I don't
and
think
that's
so
where
either.
that's what I can't definitively say that it's racist,
Although,
but I do
although
see
it,
the
it
sexism.
could. I mean,
Well,
you
Twitter
know,
went wild, and a lot of like
Yeah,
you
oh,
said,
absolutely.
the
Who was the-
African American
Yeah,
fans were
that's-
all like, "Oh
but-
my God, it's racism."
But they were also pulling up, they being like these Twitter streets. They were pulling up the woman who played in a tournament with the all white getup. I don't remember who it was and what tournament it was. This is from like the 80s or the 90s. It was a
Well,
woman.
there's an American woman named Bethany Maddox Sands. She
Mhm.
always wears eclectic outfits. She wears like knee-high socks with like plaid.
Yes,
and
I've
she,
seen it.
you've
I've
seen
before.
this,
Yes, I
and so
have.
she wears this, and she wears it as a fashion statement. And it's not for any medical reason or anything like that. No one said anything forever when she wears these type of outfits. There was another player a couple years ago, a male player, Radek Stepanak. He had holes like in the back of his
His
shirt, and people said that it resembled like a fish because it had holes, and no one really said anything about that. So if you want to talk about respecting the game, I don't think that's respecting the game when you're wearing something like that, right? So
Yeah.
you're trying to tell me a standard tennis outfit is a tennis skirt and like a tank top and your hair in a ponytail. So you can still wear something with a hole or like knee-high socks, but you can't wear a catsuit. Like that to me doesn't
I
make
My whole
sense.
thing is, in most case scenarios, just don't tell me what to wear.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to wear what you tell me what to wear.
I think what you brought up with the other two people is that's probably what gave the opening for I think some people to be like, hey, is this racist? Because now you have this
Yes.
black woman
Yes.
that does this, and we saw these two
Yeah.
other
Dex,
people who
pick
were
your
not,
mic up.
who were white,
Yeah.
and they wore it,
Yeah.
and it was okay. I still think it leans more to sexism
Yes.
here, and where I do think it might go is it might have something to do with Serena's body type and being
Yeah.
a black woman and being maybe a little bit more curvaceous.
And she's not 90 pounds, so it's
She doesn't
it's
look-
not right for. Yeah, but who's 90 pounds that plays tennis? Honestly,
nobody.
Nobody.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if you
So-
take your Maria Sharapovas and,
Yeah.
and Anna Kournikovas and all these.
Listen, whether you're black, white, or Asian, there are like very curvy, athletic type looking
Yes.
athletes in tennis and basketball in whatever sport there is. So I don't understand why they're pinpointing and like saying that it's her, like, that has to do this.
I want to see.
But-
I mean, Serena said she doesn't really care and she's not going to wear the same thing twice, and I understand all that.
Yeah. She'll
I'd
come
like
out with something outrageous, I think.
I hope so.
course. Yeah,
I hope she does
will.
at the French Open too.
Yeah.
I'd love it to just kind of be a big middle finger.
Maybe
to
like a
them.
ballerina, like tutu kind of thing. It'll be.
She should just do
it'll
something
be like,
so
and
over
she'll
the
be like,
top.
"I'm a French ballerina. What are you gonna say?"
Yeah, for real.
Right? You know.
It should say bonjour in the front.
Yes, exactly.
Just
No,
do
but
that.
I mean, these outfits, like, I've always known Serena to wear stuff the way she wants to express herself. I thought
Absolutely.
this was another way, of her expressing herself.
I
looked
did
at-
too. I did really like Nike's
I was going to
response
get to
though,
that. Did you
Yeah.
like Nike's response?
I did like
I
Nike's
thought it was
response.
fantastic.
where they said, well, what was it
You
exactly?
can't
that
take
they said?
you can take the superhero out the costume, but you can't take away her powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you
And
can't take away
that's
her
li-
superpowers, and I loved it. I
No,
loved that.
it's
I thought it was
fantastic.
Yeah, that's literally who it applies to, probably more than anybody else in sports outside of like LeBron.
And I just
Yeah.
look. We talked about this before. I'm a huge Serena fan. I love Serena. I love everything she stood for, everything that she's done. What do you make of just where she is now? Obviously, there's so much made of her trying to get to 24.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does that mean a lot, or should it not? Because
Well, I think it means
Yeah.
a lot now because to her personally, she's a mom now. So I think now that she had, her baby, I think there have been women who have been pregnant, come back on the tour and won a Grand Slam, like Kim Clijsters. But I feel like she's the queen of tennis, right? So she wants to come back and prove that she can do that. And I think she's more hungry than ever. In fact, I think she said today, like, I feel like I have so much more to prove now. Like, I'm hungry. I practice harder. I play harder because, I have a daughter, but yet I still want to prove so much, like, out there. So I think she wants to break that record, of course, but I also think she wants to show and prove to all the people out there that, I'm great, but I'm really, like, the best because I can be a mom, come back and still do all this without, any, uncertainty or anything like that. And I think Serena's mindset and just like how mentally tough she is, like that gives her the motivation and the drive to do that. And that's what you have to respect. Whether you like Serena or not, you have to respect that about her because she's so motivated and so focused on that one goal now. And I really liked what she did at Wimbledon when she lost the finals.
Yeah.
But then she said, I did this for all the moms out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I
Because,
remember that.
everyone knows how hard it is. I'm not a mother, yet, but like everyone knows how hard it is, to be a mom, come back to work. And for her to be an athlete, like, and come back and do this, like, and get to the finals. I mean, she didn't win, but I mean, that's an amazing feat.
it was inspirational.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, even as a man, for me,
Yeah.
it was inspirational to see that.
Yeah.
To see her do that, and I thought it represented so much for women
Yes.
and mothers coming back to work.
Yes.
And if you've watched any women do that or know women who've done that, as you said, you know how tough it is.
Yeah.
How do you think she does here at this U.S. Open?
Well, it's interesting because she kind of got screwed in the
Yeah.
in the draw.
17,
Yeah.
and
So-
she might play her sister
in the
the
third round.
round.
And she has like so many players in her quarter that have that are champions or are future champions that or have beaten her. So I think even though they gave her a 17th seed, like her road is really tough because she could possibly play her sister in the third round. I mean, years ago that used to be a final, everyone.
Final, yes.
Like
Yeah.
this is the third round and she's going to play her sister. Like, so it's a little crazy, but she is going to be featured in opening night, which, she should, because she's Serena.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it'll be interesting to see how she does. I know she's hungry, for another title. So I want to see, how she does that. And her daughter is so freaking cute.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's
She
so
is.
freaking cute.
I think she was in Italy not that long ago also, right?
Yes. Oh, because her perfect husband was like, Serena wanted Italian for dinner, so I took her to Italy.
I saw that. I saw,
made all of us feel horrible. I
Yes,
can't just take
exactly.
I saw that
my
post.
fiance to
but-
Italian.
and-
Yeah.
You know what my problem with that post is, though? Because then other women get ideas, and it's like,
Hey.
Yeah.
Women should be treated like that. If we want a bowl of pasta, we should be brought to Italy.
all the way to Italy.
Yo,
Hey, I'm in the mood for Mexican food.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's
you
go
know
to
what?
Yeah.
Tijuana.
after that post, they had like Margaret looking at me like, "What you doing?"
Yeah, exactly. It made all the men out there feel bad. That's why I say he's the perfect
I
husband.
was like, damn, I gotta get dinner from Italy.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I'm-
true.
I'm not
You're
doing
good.
it that
we have
way.
we have plenty of Italian food throughout New York City.
Yeah.
Do
Oh,
we?
by the
yeah,
way,
we have plenty.
speaking of
But that's
food,
not enough. Yes.
went to the food tasting at the U.S. Open too a couple
Oh,
of days
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Okay, yes.
The must food that I think anyone listening and you guys should definitely
you go
try
at the
if
US
you
Open,
go at
right.
the U.S. Open is the Fuku Burger, which is
I
the
heard.
Mama Fuku
Yeah.
brand, which is like this amazing chef David Chang. He has Mama Fuku noodle bars like all over the
yes,
city.
Yes.
So he has a concession. Fuku's actually everywhere now. Like
Yeah.
it's like a more of a fast food of his brand.
Yeah.
They have a Fuku burger. It is like this delicious, cheeseburger with this like kind of English muffin like bun. But it's not exactly an English muffin. It's softer. It is so delicious and juicy, and it's so good. So
Really?
you have to try that.
Yeah, I saw that they had like a lot of seafood, ribeye at the food tasting event.
Yeah, they had seafood. Although I don't know
lobster.
if I would get seafood
When you're at the U.S. Open.
I would.
Yeah.
I'm not a big seafood guy. I only like fish
especially
and shrimp.
sporting events. That
Oh
thing
yeah,
can get
no,
rotten.
no.
Yeah, that too.
yeah.
You could be running to the bathroom. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
I
saying.
go
You
for
don't
the,
want
I
that
go for the
between
us. Don't want
default
that.
chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was? Did you do Taste of Tennis this year?
I did not do taste tennis because I had to
Okay.
work. But
Okay.
but I did the U.S. Open tasting the same day of Taste of Tennis.
Okay.
So I don't think I could have bared like two big helpings of a taste
Michelle
of
and
tennis.
Michelle and I and Michelle's husband, we were at Taste of Tennis a couple years ago. I was working. Were you working? Or you just did have the food.
I just went there to have the food.
I was working, then I was done, and Michelle was like, "Oh, well, you're done. You got to come over and have some food." And I had some food and some drinks. Her husband, so much good food there too. You got to do that one time. Taste
Yeah.
of Tennis.
Taste of tennis.
It's
Oh
good.
yeah, so much good food.
But
So
only
much
for the
drink.
food, like a savage.
No, like
No,
you
it's good
can
to
go there
network
and,
too.
and
Yeah.
network and see the
Oh.
players.
I need to do that.
They have a
Yeah.
kick-ass goodie bag. Don't forget to get that when you
Goodie
leave.
bag. All right.
Yeah.
What's in
Yeah.
the goodie bag?
It's like a blender or something.
A
Like
blender?
yeah,
Yeah.
something like really cool, like a juicer or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need that. 'cause
You know
I
what I'm
love
saying?
smoothies.
Yeah, no, it was good. I had a
Yeah.
good time, and it was there. And I actually met Serena. I actually shook Serena's hand
There you
that
go.
night I was there, so that was cool.
We've
Yeah.
crossed paths at the U.S. Open 2 years ago. I remember that.
Yeah.
I knew it was her from very far away because people were like running up with their, and I was a production assistant,
Yeah.
so I'm not allowed to like.
Right,
you know,
right.
But a lot of people were just walking up with their phones out, and I just saw hair.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
saw hair walking to me, and then I'm like, oh. As it got closer, I'm like,
that's-
oh,
Right,
that's
right.
her.
oh, that, yeah.
That's her. Yeah, so
like
it's-
that's the real thing.
Yeah, so it's going to be real interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick break because we have Michelle for a couple more minutes. When we come back, we'll talk about the men's side. Also, report.
Go
that
Rafa.
You're rooting for Rafa. I know you're Rafa. You're a Rafa fan. I know that.
I almost bought his pink sneakers.
Really?
His gray and pink sneakers. What? I
Yeah,
wanted
why?
I wanted a pair of pink
Are you
sneakers.
No,
not
actually-
a Rafa fan? I'm leaving the
No,
show.
I'm not anti-Rafa. I do lean more to Federer. I kind of have been.
I mean, I don't have anything against Federer, but I'm a Rafa fan.
Okay, we'll get into why.
I met Djokovic.
We'll get.
Oh, I'm leaving. I'm
Okay.
leaving now.
We're
I
gonna-
said I met him
Oh,
once.
oh, okay.
Wow, real serious here. We'll get into that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back on Ain't Hard to Tell podcast.
It ain't hard to tell where to get the latest merchandise from Backpack Broadcasting. Gear is now available via TeePublic. Visit the Backpack Broadcasting TeePublic online store to get shirts, hoodies, mugs, and phone cases. Represent your favorite Backpack Broadcasting shows, including the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, and of course, the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Check out the special offers for our podcast listeners at http://t.pub/lic/backpack. Get in the game with your official Backpack Broadcasting gear today.
Welcome back to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Dexter Henry, Brian Fonseca, and our guest for the second time here on the show, Michelle Yu of SNY.
Woo!
Now, Michelle, before we went to the break, you let us know that you are a huge fan
I am.
of Rafa.
Love Rafa.
You love Rafa.
In
Why
fact,
do you
my
love Rafa?
friends say like you're such a huge Rafa fan that you married a man named Rafa. So we is it So when you think about that, I guess does that make me creepy or does that make me just a hardcore fan? I don't know, but
I didn't realize this.
I
before.
love my husband for who he is, not because his name is Rafa. So yeah, I see.
Next time I meet your husband, we don't have to. I'm gonna talk about
Yes,
that.
yes.
What is your issue with Rafa?
Nothing. I have no. Why?
You have an issue with Rafa. Let's talk about that. Why are you not a Rafael Nadal fan?
I have no issue with him. I think he's great. He's a fantastic player.
All right.
I just thought it was interesting that you were willing to cop his shoes. I didn't know that you were a fan of his shoes.
not because it were his shoes. I just wanted a pair of pink sneakers. I still do. And I liked his. They were gray and they had the pink in the bottom.
You
I
guys
was like,
got me pegged for being a Rafa. Like, damn.
I mean, yeah. And he's cool.
Rafa's very cool. Yeah.
The U.S. Open that I did, he had that great match with, who was the guy that beat him? Pui.
Oh,
Luca
yeah.
Pui.
Okay, yeah, that was 2 years ago.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good match.
Yeah.
Rafa's, you know why I love Rafa? I'll tell you why. Because I play tennis, as you know.
Yeah.
And, like, the way he fights on the tennis court is like no other. Like, when he's down, he'll still chew your, like, lunch bag, right? This is the analogy I use. He'll chew your lunch bag knowing that he can't get the sandwich, but he'll chew it and annoy you until you just let go of that lunch bag, and he'll just eat the whole thing up right in front of you.
That's the kind of person I like, though.
You know,
I
love that about him.
If you're a sports fan, you just love watching
Yes.
that kind of athlete.
Because he fights and he
Exactly.
plays. He says he plays every point like his life depended on it. That's my favorite quote from him of all time.
Does that make you even like him more, coming back from all the injuries he's had to deal with?
Absolutely.
And trying to fight his way. And he's really fought his way back.
fought his way back. I mean, he won the French Open 11 times, which is insane. And I just think, you know, he works hard. He's a guy that truly works hard. And for anyone that knows what it's like to be a tennis player and to come back from an injury and to fight back to get match play and come back to the top, like it's like such a hard thing, and I admire that so much about him. Like, everyone's like, oh, you think he's so hot and that's why you like him. I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with that. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, I just admire, just like people admire Serena Williams and her grittiness and her toughness and her you know, tenacity. It's the same thing with Rafa. Like, I think he's just such a fighter. You see him on the court, like, he fights for every point. He could be down 5 match points, but he will not give up. As you know, me, I'm like, oh, maybe we'll call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so last thing on him, how do you like his chances here in the U.S. Open?
I like his chances. I know that Novak Djokovic is the favorite because he just beat Federer in Cincinnati, and he just won Wimbledon, and he beat Rafa in that really tough match in the semifinals at Wimbledon. But, you know, Rafa has a pretty good draw. I mean, it's still a tough draw. He plays David Ferreira, a fellow guy from Spain, in the first round, so it's a tough draw. But Djokovic and Federer are on the same side.
They can meet.
And they can meet, so you're eliminating one of them, you know. So, you know, it's a tougher draw on the other side, and I think Del Potro is also on that side, and he's always a very big threat, a dark horse. So I think Rafa's chances are good as long as, you know, he is healthy and he keeps, you know, playing. I mean, he did win Toronto, which is another warm-up tournament, a couple of weeks ago. So I like his chances, and of course I'll be rooting for him.
Of course you will.
Of course I will be.
And Brian will
and Brian, I'll go shopping with you with those pink sneakers, okay?
Yeah, I could use that. I still might get them. I'm not even playing.
All right,
Like,
when you get him, please bring him and wear him here on the show. So
Sure,
we can show everybody.
Tag me on
And
Instagram.
we'll make sure we have a picture for Michelle.
Yeah,
on
sure.
Instagram.
Tag me.
all I need is a couple pink shirts to go with it, and I'm good.
Good for you.
Real men wear pink, right?
Good for you. Yeah.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong wearing pink.
Nothing
I got a
wrong.
couple pink shirts.
Oh, I heard he's wearing sleeveless too.
Oh, you think the U.S. Open will ban him from wearing that?
Too much skin. He's
Too much
showing
skin?
too much skin. Yeah.
You know the women are gonna go crazy when he's.
Yeah, Michelle's gonna go crazy for
Yeah.
that.
Like
No,
I
she's
said,
gonna-
I don't. It's not the reason why I go gaga. But they are nice to look at.
They
But
are
anyhow.
right. Moving on in the world of sports, a lot has come out. There's a report that Jemele Hill reportedly leaving ESPN September 1st, and all of us here fans of what she's done in her work. But this comes after, was it the president at ESPN has come out and said what, Brian?
Jimmy Pitaro, who's the new president after John Skipper has stepped down earlier this year, he basically said that he wants ESPN to kind of stick more to sports and that they're not a political, you know, sort of thing. Jemele Hill apparently wants to, I don't know if she wants to get into politics necessarily, but it looks like she wants to have more freedom. So reports started surfacing. I think it started with Jim Miller, and then Sports Illustrated reported out that she's her last day is supposed to be September 1st. So this will be your last week. And she apparently has her own production company with Kelly Carter from The Undefeated, I believe.
Yes.
Where, let me see if I can pull up the name. It is Lodge Freeway Media. Lodge Freeway Media. So that's one of the things she wants to do. And I guess she just wants to do more, like, you know, behind the camera opportunities, I read. I don't even know if that's correct, but Yeah, Jemele Hill apparently is parting ways with ESPN after this whole whirlwind of activity where, she's on the 6 with Michael Smith,
Right.
only for a little while, then she's gone, and then Michael Smith is gone, and then she's going off to, go to the undefeated, and then people are like, oh, you got fired, and then she's like, no, I'm not. I'm still here doing Highly Questionable, doing Levitar Show, doing all these other programming. Now it's kind of the same thing where her mentions are getting fired up with, haha, you got fired, this and that, and people don't really know any better. But the reality of it is, she's just choosing not to, I guess, continue to follow this corporate path. It seems like she wants to do her own thing. Something that I know you're all for, Dexter, because we talked about this a lot, and we're going to continue talking about that. That's like one of the themes of this podcast is to just do your own thing and be independent. So I guess what is everyone's thoughts here is because Jemele Hill's one of, I guess, in our industry, one of the main, figures of, we really, really admire her, for example. A lot of people do.
Yeah, well, I mean, and obviously for our guest here, Michelle, obviously being a reporter anchor and just seeing, whether it is what you choose to do, but seeing her just leave and go, Michelle, or whatever she chooses to do you see that as a good thing, empowering? Maybe she's saying, hey, I don't want to just stick to sports. What do you think about the whole situation here?
Well, I think about it there's always, both sides to a story, right?
Of course,
I,
yes.
I think...
Well, 3.
Right. Yes. But here's the simple answer that I have to this and my thoughts. Look, if she can afford to leave,
yep,
and
that's the main thing.
then great, good for her.
Can't do that.
Because everybody can't do that,
Right.
and I think sometimes we are so we don't think sometimes. We just do things really quickly. What's the word I'm looking for? Like we are...
Impulsive?
Yes, we're very
Yes.
impulsive sometimes when we do that.
Well-
I'm not saying that Jemele is being impulsive. I think
Well,
Jemele...
they're negotiating a buyout. That's the part of it.
Yeah.
She's not just leaving. They're negotiating a buyout.
I did read
so.
that, and I think the buyout was like $2.5 million. So if Jemele Hill's getting $2.5 million for the buyout, then God bless, she can leave and do whatever
I
she
couldn't even
wants.
start my
You know what I'm
podcast.
saying? Like, then sure, more power to her that she can go and do
I
that.
think that's great.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And she's
I think
got more than that saved up, I'm sure.
And I have a lot of respect for Jemele. I think she's a fantastic journalist, and I think she has a fantastic voice. I think as an African-American female, she really has paved the way for a lot of, diverse conversations that have happened, throughout the gamut in sports, and I think it's wonderful. And I think it's wonderful that she has set an example for others to speak out on topics that they feel strongly about. I mean, obviously the president was a big topic with her, and that was one of the big issues with ESPN, that they wanted to censor her and they wanted her not to speak her mind. But at the end of the day, we live in America. We have a freedom to speak our mind, and I'm sure there are limitations to what you can or cannot say. You probably can't say, curse words or or
Right.
call people certain names,
Yeah.
but you have an opinion. You can say whether or not you think something is right, or that's what sports talk is. That's what table talk is. That's what people do. You moderate, panels for. That's what it's about. And I think, she probably felt, I don't want to be censored, and I don't blame her. She wants to have her opinion and have her thought. And I think a lot of her success has had to do with the fact that she has been so opinionated.
Yeah.
So why should she feel she should give that up because, she wants to stay at ESPN?
I feel like in order to
I agree with you
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah, I feel like in order to get to a certain level, especially if you're her, you kind of have to walk the line. Like, I
Yeah.
remember years ago when she was just a columnist, she got suspended for 30 or 60 days for writing something.
Yep.
I don't know if it was about Chris Bosh or something like that, but yeah, like, you're going to walk that line. And
Right.
now it's a little different because this isn't just she disagrees with the president. This is not some typical president that we've
Yeah.
had. This is a celebrity president who is a lot more upfront than other people we've had. And the discussion...
Who asks for controversy
Right.
every day?
Right.
Yeah, I think that needs to be noted, and that
Yes.
matters in the yes.
Yeah, and it's not... And he responds back,
Yes.
by the way. And I think ESPN just wants to... Like, we don't want
Right.
any parts of this. We just
Right.
want to go about our business. But Jemele Hill's like, no, like, I want this fight. Because I feel like she understands... Not that I want to speak for her, but she understands that this isn't about Democrats and Republicans and right and left.
Nor is it just about her.
It's about morals.
Right.
It's about right versus wrong. It's about what,
And the voice for the people.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what it
that's
is.
that's what, and that's something I want to say. When it's more than her, it's a voice for the people. And as you brilliantly brought up, how she's empowering other women, minority women,
Men too.
African American
Men
women,
too.
men
Empowering
too.
men too.
Yeah, but especially, I mean, listen, any minority is looking up at Jemele Hill. Any of us that are sitting here in this
I
room
am.
and seeing her,
I
what she's
definitely
done,
am. Yeah.
you have to be like, hey, she's been a voice, she's been true to herself.
Yeah.
And if leaving, as you said, is true to herself, and she can afford to do so,
Go ahead.
much props to
Absolutely.
her.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Much props to her.
It's a different world now where there's not just one or two places that should be the final destination to make money. Like, especially now and with the help of social media, but just the way the world is set up, you have a lot of different avenues to get to where eventually you
Well,
want to
why
get to.
should you be silenced and not make money from it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can make
Great
money
point.
and not be silenced. That's what America is about. We don't live in prison. It's not like you were living in North Korea where everything is obviously censored and you can't say X, Y, or Z. We're here because we can provide a voice for people, and change happens with voices being heard.
I feel like that's the whole battle with creative versus corporate, though. Corporate wants to, a lot, not all corporate, but a lot of corporate wants to give you money
But there's
to
a
shut
fine
up
line.
and give you and
there is.
suppress you. And then creative wants to be like, no, I want the freedoms to do this.
Well,
this,
the problem
and
is
that.
some of these corporate, they have ties with certain and other interests, which may include the president and other people, and sometimes they don't want to upset those interests that they have, so they're going to try to suppress the voice to a certain degree.
I do agree. There's a line though.
There's a line.
There's
like
a
fine
line.
line.
like for example, if this is not a great example, but if somebody of that stature wanted to get into porn, the company's probably going to have an issue
Brian
with
just
that.
took this conversation to a whole other level, everyone.
A whole different place.
So it's
that's
like
what you were thinking.
There's a line, right? Like,
No, I get your point.
There's
though.
a line and more.
There's a line and more, and a lot more.
yeah, you know what I mean?
This is a family podcast, Brian.
Somewhat it is, I guess.
I mean, is it though?
I don't know.
But if you're listening with your family, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
no,
on a side note, though,
Yes.
another reason why I love Jemele. So one of my athletic appetites, she actually was hosting with it was on the Levertide.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Did you see
I
that?
saw this. I saw you repost this.
Yeah, she wanted the Stephon Marbury piece, like the clip of it. She told everyone to watch. She thought it was really interesting. The one where I made hot pot with Marbury.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
I said thanks, Jemele. She's like, yeah, I had something to do with it, but yeah, she's so cool in my book.
Nah,
She's on the very high on the list of people that I need to meet.
Yes, and I haven't met her, but I love her work. So I'm glad.
I love her work,
I think
I've
we all
exchanged
agree
messages with her
and
once.
wish her the best in whatever she does next with
Yes.
Lodge Freeway Media. We will
We
support
can only
that.
learn from
Hopefully they have openings.
Brian angling for work. Michelle, I know you had limited time. We want to thank you for coming up here again. First person to come up here 2 times.
Thank you. That is so nice.
I hope you like the new space.
I
Gotham
love the
Podcast
new
Studios that
space.
we're in.
It might need a little AC, but it's a great space. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's really great. We like being here. Thank you so much. Anything new coming up with you that you should let people know about?
Aside from
no,
the U.S. Open, of course.
No, I mean everything's kind of I've had a lot of stuff new already going on, so it's just I just have to keep up with it.
Just got to keep it going and keep it rolling.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah,
everybody,
I hear
you can
that.
check Michelle out. She has a show, Athletic Appetites, that's on SNY. You can also see her hosting Sports Night sometimes.
All the time nowadays.
They've been keeping you real busy lately,
Yeah,
right?
they have.
Give Michelle a break and let her cover some U.S. Open.
Follow me on Instagram, Michelle UTV.
Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you can follow her there. That's it for episode 40. We didn't even give an athlete number for this. We forgot to do that.
Real quick.
We'll let Michelle choose it.
Number 40. All right, so we got Mike Allstott. We got. Do you know what this is?
No, I don't know
We
what
always
this
pick
All
an
right, so-
athlete's jersey number to represent the episode.
Oh, well,
didn't
of
pick
course
one.
we're picking Jordan 23.
Well, no, it has to be the episode number's 40, so it has to go
Oh,
with that.
I see.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
And we were
So-
not picking Jordan for 20.
So these are. Wait, I think you were 23, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
snap.
you were 23.
Yeah, but we didn't start doing it until 30. So when we
Yeah.
get to 123,
We'll
I'm
do
we'll
it.
back.
have you back,
Okay.
and then
Back for
yeah,
that.
It's a lot of episodes.
You
Promise.
were 23. You were episode 23.
I mean, we have big plans. So all right, so Mike Allstott, James Hasty, former Jets
Yep.
running back,
Yep.
Harrison Barnes,
Udonis
Udonis
Haslem.
Haslem, Sean Kemp, Bill Lambier, Kurt Thomas, Bartolo Colon. We're not picking this one, but I put it there anyway. Madison Bumgarner, and Deontay Wilder because he has 40 wins.
Who do we pick?
Yeah, who's your pick?
We picked Sean Kemp.
See, I'm with
Oh,
you.
okay,
Sean
yeah.
Kemp.
I agree.
Yes.
I
Why?
agree. Sean
You know why?
Kemp.
Because Sean Kemp has my favorite, nastiest in-game dunk when he
What
Oh,
dunked on
yeah.
the dude and pointed at him. Best ever. So
Was that
Sean
the
Kemp.
Kemp and
Gatling one?
Detlef. That was.
Yes.
Was that the Chris Gatling one?
No, that was what last the guy's name was Liston. I can't remember his first name.
Okay.
That he dunked on.
Okay, yeah.
But it was pretty
But
bad.
that was great.
All right,
yeah.
so we agree on
I
Sean
agree.
Kemp?
Oh, Sean Kemp.
All right, so
Sean Kemp,
Michelle, you
definitely.
is the Sean Kemp episode.
Yeah.
And
I'm
you,
rolling
the
with that.
previous
I love
one
it.
was a Jordan episode because it was 23.
It's all about the NBA. You know I love
Yeah,
it.
you know,
I
I
dig it.
love it too.
Right. That would be a funny. That would be an interesting athletic appetite.
All
if we
right.
had
Oh,
Sean
yeah.
Kemp.
We have Sean Kemp. All right, Michelle. So we'll have you back on for a third time at some point.
I
Yes.
love it. Thank you
Some
so
point in
much.
the future. Thank you so much for joining us. That's it for episode 40 of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. For Brian Fonseca and Michelle Yu, I'm Dexter Henry. Peace, guys.
Bye.